Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Will, and it's officially the end of the first month of 2024, meaning that people are slowly just starting to slip back into their regular routines of life and ditch the whole New Year optimism that's usually prominent within the first few weeks of the new year. Some people like to hold on to it a little longer, some people don't like to start it at all. But it's finally getting to be that time where the new year excitement is starting to wear off. However, one fact always remains true no matter the year, no matter the time, no matter the place, and that is that there are always going to be assholes everywhere, and people are always going to suck. And so today I'm going to be doing my first installment of Reddit's Am I the Asshole for this year, and I'm going to be reading some winter holiday themed submissions. Let's get started. This first one says, am I the asshole for wearing my winter coat wherever I want? So I'm kind of like the guy who wears shorts all year long, except I wear my favorite winter coat. I've had it for a long time and I almost never left home without it, that is until a few months ago when I lost it. I remember waking up one day to a particularly cold summer morning and deciding that today's a great day to wear my winter coat. So I decided to look for it and couldn't find it. I asked my grandmother if she knew where it was, and she said she also had no idea. Alright, I guess it was just lying forgotten in some part of my room, I thought. Oh, it would turn up eventually. Except it never did. Until a month later when I found it in one of my grandmother's closets. Now for a little background, my grandmother didn't like that I wore my coat everywhere and would often criticize me about wearing it, to which I often responded that I didn't care, that it was my choice and what I decided to wear. Anyway, I was pretty pissed when I found it in my grandmother's closet and went to confront her with it in my hand. I asked her why she lied to me, and she said that she was tired of me wearing the coat everywhere. I threatened to wear it to work that day, and she threatened to take my computer if I left the house with my coat. So I begrudgingly left it at home. I already expected this, but when I got back, the coat was hidden somewhere else and I couldn't find it. Fast forward to this fall season, I asked Grandma for my coat considering that it's getting colder, and she said she'll give it to me tomorrow. Well, now she says she can't find it and that she's looked all around for it. So yeah, my grandmother lost my favorite coat. I don't have another winter jacket, and it's autumn. What an interesting situation. What an interesting situation. I really just want to know the backstory behind this coat and why it's so important to the poster of this that they wear it all year round and like they wear this coat a lot. And I think it's up to everybody to decide what they wear, of course. This person is right. It is their choice what they choose to put on their body and what they wear. And I definitely went through a phase in my life where I only wanted to wear long sleeves, although that was probably for a bit of a darker reason than that of the person posting this. Just a hunch. I wonder if there's like a sentimental reason why this person is so unwilling to give up the coat, or if they're just genuinely more comfortable with the coat. And I also want to know Grandma's beef with this coat. Why does she resent it so much? Why is she so bothered by the fact that her grandson is just wearing this coat all year long? I consulted the comments, and the general consensus of everybody was what this person said, which is, I don't think you're the asshole, but I hope to fucking God you shower. I've known a few people who do this and they fucking dream the summer. And another said, the coat itself might smell at this point too, so hopefully OP washes it if he finds it, or the new one if he gets one. It's something he might not notice if he wears it all the time. And I have to agree with this. As long as the person wearing the coat is practicing basic hygiene procedures, keeping clean, keeping the coat clean, then I don't see the issue with it. I mean, you can wear whatever the fuck you want. It really doesn't affect anybody else what you choose to put on your body, just like the people who wear shorts all throughout the winter. Couldn't be me. You do you. It doesn't affect anybody else what you choose to wear. I don't think this person is the asshole. I think Grandma might be a slight you're the asshole for just like hiding her grandson's coat. But I really also kind of want Grandma's backstory and like her beef behind the coat. I just did what anyone would have done, if I'm being honest. I gifted my grandson that coat, thinking he could use a nice winter coat. It'd be nice. He could wear it to school in the winter, show his friends. But what I had never expected was that he would never take it off. He wears the coat every day despite my constant nagging, and it's to the point where my friends are like, Connie, why is your grandson wearing a coat in the middle of July? And I just have to shrug it off and say, kids will be kids. But it's embarrassing me, and it's giving me a bad reputation because I'm the one with a grandson who has to wear a coat all year round and do these weird things that kids just do. So I snapped. I hid the coat and I lost it, and I feel great. No more embarrassment of the winter coat. I'm just so glad to be rid of it. I did what needed to be done. I don't know. I can just picture her like having some dramatic sob story as to why she resents this coat so much, and I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of living for it, and I kind of want to be involved in that, but for right now I'm just gonna say no assholes here, given, you know, that hygiene is being followed with the coat. Let's move on to the next one. This one says, am I the asshole for wanting to spend New Year's Eve with my boyfriend? So when I was doing am I the asshole submissions for this one, I noticed that there's this new thing, POO mode, and from what I've gathered, it means that like it's a sensitive topic, so people are like no longer able to comment on it or something. I don't know. Still reading it though. Okay, so my boyfriend of 2 years has been invited to a New Year's Eve party thrown by a friend that I do not get along with, therefore I wouldn't be able to join him. I kind of expected to spend New Year's with my boyfriend and do the kiss at midnight thing, but he doesn't care much for it and sees it as just another night. He wants to go to this party because it's a good friend, and I already went to your mom's for Christmas, and he feels that it's unreasonable of me to expect him to spend all holidays with him. Detail to add, my father was euthanized earlier this year due to cancer, and I've been having a tough time this holiday period. While my boyfriend is generally supportive in this, he also feels like I need to be able to deal with it myself and let him live his life because it's not his dad that died. He thinks I'm being overly clingy to him and that because we lived together one night shouldn't matter that much. I broke down crying today over it, saying that it's normal for partners to want to spend special days together and that I really needed him for emotional support. This pissed him off because he feels like every choice he makes is now bad. Either he lets me down or he lets his friend down. He's saying that I'm the asshole for putting this choice on him. I do feel like I put him in an impossible situation and then I'm valuing my needs over his, but I also think it's normal to have certain expectations from a partner. So am I the asshole for wanting him to spend the night with me? You're not the asshole for wanting him to spend a night, but you are the asshole for expecting him to spend every second with you. My god. I'm not a huge expert in relationships, but you are two different people and you can do two different things, and it's normal to not be attached at the hip and be together 24/7, and it's normal to want your own space. And I think it's completely fine that this boyfriend wants to go off and do his own thing. It's not his fault that you don't get along with the friend, so you're not able to go. From what I'm gathering from this, it's not like you're even explicitly like not allowed to. You just don't want to because you don't get along with the person. Probably because they're friends with your boyfriend and you just can't handle that. You want to just keep your boyfriend in a little cage and not let him out. Let him out of his tower, ma'am. He needs to be free. And I'm genuinely sorry that this person lost their parent. That's a terrible thing to go through. But just because the world is ending for you doesn't mean that you have to make everybody else's world end too. And that doesn't mean that other people aren't allowed to live their lives, and just trying to make him stay with you because you're sad is just manipulative and annoying. Of course, I think that there are some expectations in relationships and that partners should be there to support one another, but that doesn't mean that your partner can't go off, be happy, do their own things just because you're not having a good time doesn't mean that they can't have a good time. It's irritating. You're the asshole. Am I the asshole for not doing our New Year's fireworks early so our neighbor kids can stay up and see it? My husband and I do a fireworks show every year for New Year's. We get a whole bunch of them, set up our firework racks, and plan out the timing of them so it gradually gets larger until the finale. It's been a nice thing that our friends and family come together to do, and people in our neighborhood enjoy it as well since our town doesn't have a fireworks show. It also saves them from having to deal with fireworks themselves and making the trip to get fireworks as they're not allowed to be sold in our county. So my husband, son, and our nephew make the trip to go get them a couple weekends before. Our neighbors were out with their kids riding bikes yesterday afternoon and came up to us as we were setting it up to ask what time we'd be doing them. We tell them we start our show a little before 12 so the big fireworks are going off as the ball drops. The mom asked if we could do them earlier, like 8 or 9, so their kids could see them because they can't stay up that late. My husband explained that that's when our friends and family are expecting it. She then asks if we could do some of them earlier. I know my husband doesn't really want to because he has the timing all planned out with the fireworks, and we have and gets stressed when things are unplanned. He hesitates replying though because he hates confrontation, so I just tell her that it's not going to work for us, and I can see that their kids are really disappointed, but I can also tell my husband's relieved I took over. Not the asshole here. Not the asshole. Just because you have kids doesn't mean the world has to cater to your kids and what your kids want. Life is full of disappointment, and it's okay for kids to learn that young. There'll be plenty of years ahead of them where they can stay up till midnight and watch the fireworks. This just happens to not be one of those nights, and I think it's a little unreasonable to expect people to alter their plans just for the sake of your children. Is this really that deep of an issue? No, it's a minor little thing, and it doesn't even seem like they threw a huge fit. They were just disappointed, which is fine, but no, you're not the asshole. This one says, am I the asshole for canceling New Year's with my girlfriend? My girlfriend and I were planning on spending New Year's together. We're living together but are from different countries. My girlfriend went home for Christmas and I'm supposed to be joining her and her family the 26th and stay over for 1 week. Her grandpa has lost pretty much all of his autonomy some years ago. He can't do anything on his own and has a caretaker to help with basic needs. This has never been a problem when I went there because it's just the way things are. And there are never major complications the times I was there. The thing is, it's always a great thing to hear, all the family lives together. My girlfriend, the parents, both grandparents, and the sister is also staying there for the holidays. The grandpa was taken to the ER earlier this week. He was diagnosed with terminal cancer and the doctors thought he only had some hours left. Contrary to the doctor's beliefs, he didn't die that day and got stable enough to be sent home. But now he's fragile and he can leave us at any moment. I don't have a strong relationship with my in-laws, so I don't think it'd be comfortable for them to have me stay at their house for 1 week in case Grandpa dies. And I wouldn't have anywhere else to go until my flight. I don't want to make anyone's grief harder for feeling like they have to care for a guest, nor do I want to take away their privacy to grieve in case something happens. My girlfriend told me to go, but I don't know if it's the right choice taking everything and everyone into account. Oh boy, remember a few posts ago when I said, of course, sometimes you need to be there for your partner and do things? Yeah, this is one of those times. It doesn't sound like you're taking everyone into account. It sounds like you're taking you into account and you don't want to be there in case he happens to pass on. So you're trying to avoid that. It'd be one thing if the girlfriend was like, hey, this is a possibility that might happen. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable having you there. But if the family wants you there, you gotta go. You can't just back off just because there's the potential that somebody might die. It is such an asshole thing to just be like, oh, well, now their grandpa's sick and might die and that might ruin my holiday, so I don't want to go and be there for that. I know you're saying it's because you want to respect their privacy, but I think it's because you don't want to see them sad and you don't want to see them grieving. You don't really want to be there through all the emotions. You don't want to deal with that. And if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, I think you gotta learn to deal with stuff like that. It's not like this person is even being asked to care for the grandpa. He's literally just going to be in the environment. Something might happen. Something might not happen. You never know. Be there for your partner. If grandpa dies, be there. Don't run and hide. I also hate the fact that they're like, I wouldn't be able to catch a flight. So like basically saying if grandpa died, he just, oh, grandpa died. Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I gotta go catch my flight. Absolutely not. You're 100% the asshole in this situation. This next one says, am I the asshole for not wanting coal for Christmas? This year I went to my fiance's house for Christmas. It was my first time going as we'd be typically going to my family's house instead. I got a rather pricey gift for my fiance, Dan, related to his hobbies, and I got nice gifts for Dan's parents based off of things I've talked about with them before, and I got a small pack of chocolates for each of Dan's other relatives as I didn't know them that well. I wasn't expecting many gifts from Dan's relatives because I didn't know many of them that well, but I certainly was expecting more than I got. At first I was excited when I saw that there was a big pile of gifts for me. However, once I opened the first one, it was just a piece of coal. Everyone laughed, and I kind of just laughed along thinking it was a gag gift and that the other gifts would be different. But every single one of them turned out to be coal. All 18 of them. I started to get upset, so I cried and lashed out at Dan, but he calmly explained apparently it's a long-standing tradition in his family where they give coal to newcomers who are celebrating Christmas with them for the first time. He explained that it's just easier that way since all the relatives who might not know the newcomer don't have to stress over finding a gift, and it's a fun experience for the newcomer as well. I told Dan I couldn't believe I skipped my own family celebration for this and left. But now Dan and some of his family are blowing up my phone saying I embarrassed him in front of his relatives and that I made it awkward for everyone. So am I the asshole? I think it's okay to have these silly little family traditions so long as they're not upsetting or offending anybody. But when they are, I think that becomes a bigger issue, and I can't imagine the disappointment of making the effort to find gifts for his family. She even went and got gifts for she got nice chocolate for the people she didn't know that well so they'd have something. And she was just given coal 18 times. I admittedly think the first time would be funny, like, oh, haha, coal. But opening it 18 times would just be a huge disappointment, and I hate the way that this family is turning around and being like, you're the one who made it awkward and weird by not thinking that this is funny. because I would be outraged too. I wouldn't want to sit there and open coal 18 times while the family's just laughing at me and thinks this is a funny little tradition, while you actually made the effort to get everybody else decent gifts. Obviously it wasn't a fun experience for the newcomer as well, so you're not the asshole. The family is kind of an asshole. Families and their traditions are so weird. And at least this family's tradition is just giving coal to newcomers and not playing a ritualistic game that may or may not end up in someone getting killed. And you draw hide and seek. Am I the asshole for using some of my kids' Christmas money for Christmas dinner? I was hoping this issue would blow over, but my kids are still refusing to speak to me, and my daughter suggested I post about it here. My wife comes from a lot of money and her family really hates me because I'm not rich like them, but my wife doesn't care and loves me anyways. Every Christmas they'll send her and my kids extravagant gifts while I get a pair of socks from Walmart, but it's whatever. See, I can't help but wonder if this is actually just because you're not rich, or if you did something else to make them hate you. Because that is kind of sucky if they're just like, hey, you don't have money, you get a cheap gift. But I feel like there might have been something else that instigated this besides just your money or income or something. I don't know, I feel like a lot of these submissions always leave out some key details. I lost my job due to the pandemic. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, and I was worried we wouldn't be able to have Christmas this year. Next thing I know, my kids are sent Christmas cards with $250 cash in each. This is way more money than either of them need, so I took $100 from each of them and used it to buy a nice Christmas dinner. My kids tutted and complained the whole meal, and they didn't even seem interested in opening the gifts my wife and I got for them. We told them to stop being ungrateful, and my daughter jumped up and yelled that she didn't want to eat dinner with us, and my son followed her upstairs. My wife and I believe what we did was justified because my daughter suggested I post it here, I thought, why not? Do you guys think I was the asshole in this situation? For further clarity, I've never done anything like this, and definitely would have not have done it if I had a job. Am I the asshole? I gotta side with your daughter on this one. You're the asshole. Do not take things from your kids and use them for yourself unless given explicit permission to do so. I don't care if you think your kids need the money or not. It was their money, it was their gift, and you did not have a right to it. When the kids are 15 and 12, they definitely could have been using that money for something. Everyone needs money these days to do anything. You don't get to take someone else's money and say that they don't need it. It's not your kid's fault that you don't have a job. Maybe it's not your fault either, but that doesn't mean you get to take it out on your kids and take their shit. Stop being ungrateful. My God. Stop being ungrateful for this food that I gave you with your money. So basically the food that they bought. My God. This one says, am I the asshole for being upset about New Year's Eve dinner? I, 18, female and autistic, and just recently got diagnosed in March. Since then I've been making it clear to my family that change really throws me off, and for the holidays if things aren't going to go as they usually do, I need to be told well in advance. It can be very upsetting for me to go into a situation I haven't been in before, and I need some time to mentally prepare myself. In my family, on New Year's Eve we all go over to my grandma's house, eat KFC, and play cards until the ball drop at midnight. A simple tradition, but it's important to me. I was expecting this to remain this way this year, as no one mentioned anything changing, and as of writing this post, New Year's Eve is in 2 days. Well, last night I received a text from my sister asking if I wanted pizza from one place or another. I responded I don't mind, and that was all. I figured she meant tonight, the day I'm writing this, since we're having pizza for dinner. Today my mom texts me asking if I'm having pizza for dinner, and I responded with, yeah, I told my sister I was yesterday. My mom tells me that it's for New Year's Eve. I'm super confused at this point, so I just say no, New Year's Eve is KFC, always has been. So I walk out of my room to talk to my mom in person, who's on the phone with my sister. My sister began shouting at me over the phone and saying that everyone decided on pizza for dinner on Christmas after I left early. And so when she texted me asking about pizza, I should have known she meant New Year's Eve. I was like, what? No, you never mentioned a day, and if you knew we were having pizza the next day, you should have specified. Now my mom and sister are very upset with me, and I'm currently holding myself back from panicking. I know it seems like a non-issue, but I've made it clear to my family how important holiday tradition is to me, and that if things are changing, I'd like to be told so I can prepare. I've always had a hard time adapting to change, and I'm working on it in therapy, but I'm not quite there yet. I just wish my family was more sensitive and didn't assume I know everything. My sister won't come home because she doesn't want to deal with a whiny bratty bitch like me. Am I the asshole? I'm definitely going to get a lot of hate for saying this because the general consensus was that the poster is the asshole, but I don't think they are. One of the comments said, you're the asshole, your autism diagnosis is not an excuse to control every situation and the behavior of everyone around you. You have 2 days to figure out how to adapt to this situation. You can either get KFC for yourself or see if the pizza place makes wings or something similar that you can add to the order. And I don't think that this person is the asshole. And let me tell you why before you jump to hating me in the comments. I don't think that any disability or illness is just like a get out of jail free card to do whatever you want. I don't think you just get to be like, I have autism, so I get to do what I want. No, obviously I don't think that's how the world works, and I don't think that's how people should be. And I hate when people try and use that as an excuse to get themselves out of trouble. However, I think some accommodations are okay, and asking to be told in advance if there's a change is their way of dealing with it so they can figure it out. And especially because it's this person's family, it's not even like a bunch of strangers. It's not like she walked up to a group of strangers and is like, hey, we can't do this because it's not my plan. No, they were telling their family to please notify them if there was a change. And I think the bigger issue is not just the fact that the things were switching up, but that the family got mad at her over like a miscommunication. I cannot stand it when people just leave things to like assumption and just leave things open like that, and are like, well, you should have known what I meant by this vague statement or vague description. Like, if I got a text, what kind of pizza do you want? I wouldn't know a date for it. How should I know what it was for? How should this person know what it was for? A little clarity would have changed this whole issue. If the sister texted and said, hey, after you left on Christmas, we all talked and we decided that we're having pizza for dinner on Christmas, letting you know. Would you prefer this place or this place? I don't think this would have been an issue at all. It would have given the poster time to prepare, would have kept her in the know, and they would have known what pizza they wanted ahead of time, so they would have known without this whole issue and miscommunication. I do understand the fact that change is everywhere and we can't just go through life with no change, and we can't just, you know, whine when things don't go our way all the time, but change is a big thing and it does affect people a lot. I was diagnosed with an adjustment disorder as well, meaning that change is particularly hard for me and change is particularly hard for a lot of people. And it's not like this person even said, we can't do this because it's not what we usually do. This person literally just said, please tell me if we're changing things. Another one said, I get it, I do. I have 4 kids who were diagnosed a few years ago and earlier this year, and change is hard for them. I also struggle with change. It causes mass anxiety and meltdowns. The thing is, change is everywhere, and one thing I'm teaching my kids is unfortunately not everyone is going to just cater to their needs. I have to deal with it too in jobs, my kids' school, every day. It's just life. Get yourself some KFC, but your family is allowed to have something different. Maybe I just misinterpreted the whole post, but I don't think the person was saying that they weren't allowed to. She literally just wanted to know a little bit ahead of time, which they knew ahead of time. Sister refusing to come is so extra. So extra, like literally like shouting over the phone just because there was a misunderstanding because what you said wasn't clear. The family's the asshole. Poster's not the asshole in my opinion. Sorry if that makes me the asshole too, but that's just what I think. Change is everywhere, but you can accommodate to people and not be a fucking dick. I don't know what else to tell you. Sorry. I don't get it. I really don't. Those kind of things really irritate me because as someone who struggles with things like that, obviously I don't expect everything to go my way 24/7. But especially if it's someone as close as your family, the people like you live with, the people who've grown with you, you would think that you could ask them for something as simple as letting you know when something's changing and they'll do it. And to me, it just seems kind of ableist to say like, oh, you should just adapt to this, because the thing about autism is it literally is like a disability. It means that you're going to view things different, and it means you're going to struggle with some things. And this person was literally trying. I could talk about this forever. I'm probably the asshole for just agreeing with it, but we're saying not the asshole. And with that, that is going to conclude this video. Moral of the story, just don't be a dick. Sometimes you need to be there for people, and sometimes you need to give them your space. And if grandpa's dying, you can't just book a flight and go away. Sometimes you just need to deal with your issues, okay? But that is going to be all for this video, and I will see you guys in my next. Peace out.